Steven Spielberg's sci-fi thriller The Disclosure Day is about a massive government conspiracy unveiled. A targeted whistleblower races against time to bring about the event that will change the history of humankind, the day when aliens are disclosed. Hey movie peeps, thanks for watching NibbleNFlix, the podcast where snacks meet cinema. I'm your host, Jeff Reed. In this video, we're going to be munching on the movie Disclosure Day. This is a new film coming from Steven Spielberg, one of the best directors of all time. This will be a non-spoiler review. Have you seen the movie yet? Let me know down below your thoughts about the movie. And now let's get into this review. So at this past CinemaCon, Steven Spielberg and also Coleman Domingo come out and they actually discuss about the film. They talk about how they came up with the story and also the process of shooting the film, and also gave us about 8 minutes of the film just to give us kind of an idea what the film is about, and also a trailer go along with it. And after watching, I was really excited to see what this movie was going to be, and I just wanted to know if this would be considered one of Spielberg's best. I think the last couple of films he did really well. Fabelmans, you got The West Side Story. I thought there was really good movies, but the last one I really like of his is Ready Player One. But my overall favorite movie of Steven Spielberg is E.T. That was like my first movie I saw in the movie theater, so that's always going to be in my heart as my favorite film from Steven Spielberg, because that movie just emulates exactly what he does in his movie, like bringing the aura, the wonder, and also the intensity and the good music and a good story and great characters and blend them into one. And that's why he's one of the best of all time. And just seeing how he loves to go back to having movies about aliens. Of course, he did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He had E.T., he had War of the Worlds, and also now Disclosure Day as kind of like his fourth film discussing or having some kind of element when it comes to aliens involved with it. The movie starts off with this character named Danny. He's playing Josh O'Connor, and he's basically a cybersecurity analyst for this company called Warren X, and he stole all this data about all the aliens interactions and everything about aliens from this company, who is also associated with the government as well. And he has to basically figure out if he's going to stay silent or he's going to tell everybody about, aliens do exist. And then we meet our second main character, which is Margaret, played by Emily Blunt, who is basically a meteorologist in Kansas City, and she kind of untaps her abilities or some kind of powers that she has, and she goes on this quest of dealing with all of this emotion of knowing what's going on and trying to figure out what was wrong with her, how did this happen, trying to figure out what happened to her. So having our two main characters coming together on this journey, trying to figure out what is right, either to disclose the information, also find out some stuff about themselves as well. Does this movie meet up to what we usually get from Steven Spielberg when it comes to like these alien type movies and stuff like that? And the answer is, yeah, we do, but there's also some things that made this movie kind of hit the flat note as well. So let's talk about it. Spielberg actually brings the best out when it comes to building up the story. He's always fantastic when it comes to making the movie feel had like some wonder and mystery with it, building the tension, kind of like his classic movies. And he does it in a way where he can make it more modern when it comes to our times. And the film has this like vibes of Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. basically blend together when it comes to the conspiracy and the thriller of this film. And this does really well in the first two acts of the film. It's very fast paced, but it's smooth, and it's also not revealing a lot, trying to build up the tension for the third act of the film. And I thought that was a good job because it allows some of these characters to build the story, develop as characters, and you could start having some high stakes towards the end of the film. Telling keeps you engaged. Like I said before, it doesn't really reveal everything at once. It's slowly doing it. But while I was doing that, we got these two characters on a run, trying to outrun from the government and also from this company as well. The government is trying to hide the secret. We got these characters like Daniel and also Coleman Domingo's character who is trying to release the information so everybody knows. And it becomes kind of like a cat and chase game between these two. And that's what I like about this film. It talks about things that I don't think a lot of people really think about if it was ever disclose that aliens are here. And I think that was really good what they did. Like, should we know or should we not know? Should we not know just to protect ourselves, or should we know so we can just get over it and be like, hey, yeah, there's aliens out there? And it touches about a lot of things. It talks about your morals, talks about your religion. Like, it talks about what would be effective if we find out aliens actually do exist, and will we still believe in our religious beliefs? Will we not believe in our religion anymore? When it comes to, can we handle handle that as people? Like, the world's already chaotic already. Do we really want more chaotic stuff thrown at us? And the acting in this movie I felt was very strong. And it starts off like before, a strong performance from Josh O'Connor, who's playing Daniel, who's basically a cybersecurity analyst who's, basically stole this data, and he's working along with Coleman Domingo's character, who's like the leader of this truth group who wants to reveal the information out to the public. Colin Firth, who's playing the antagonist, he's the villain, he's the owner of Warnex, who was the company that is trying to protect it and keep this secret from getting out. And I thought he did a great job playing this creepy, also very determined character who just doesn't want this information leaked at all. They all did a great job adding significant weight and emotional and dramatic moments to the story, and they actually helped make this movie really good. However, the standout in this film is Emily Blunt, and just the way that she plays Margaret, I thought was absolutely outstanding how she plays the character and how she was delivering how emotional this character was. It's very dynamic, and I think it's one of her best performances in her career. And that's because she was asked to do a lot in this movie, and she has to do like personality changes. She has to do that on a dime, and also when it comes to showing emotional beats where this character is at mentally, how they are processing the information that's going on, and seeing all the things they're going through as an individual, and just seeing how everything is being effective while they actually unlock these basically abilities. With everyone she has screened with, I thought she was absolutely amazing when it comes to the chemistry with Josh O'Connor, and definitely with Wyatt Russell, because they were boyfriend and girlfriend. She actually elevated like all the characters in this film as well every time she was on screen. And I felt like it was one of those performances where I think she should be nominated, because she nails all the emotional beats and everything she had to do in this film, like basically being a chameleon. I thought it was absolutely superb, and probably the best performances of the year. And the score and the cinematography of this movie, and I gotta say, John Williams does his best work like always, and I love when he collabs with Steven Spielberg. I think they always do masterful work when it comes to working with each other, because they know how to make certain scenes a lot better by using the music that John Williams makes and the scenes that Steven Spielberg actually makes and creates out of his head. They did a great job blending the tension when tensions rise, or having those intimate moments where you got the characters that you're showing emotional beats, and I felt like the music was basically spot on, especially in this one scene where you get a little bit of action in this movie, where there's only two scenes. There's one where they're driving through this house in a rural area, and also the train scene that you see in the trailer. Actually, both of them are in the trailer, and I thought the music elevated those scenes, building up the intensity, building up the chase, building up what's going on, and putting these characters where you actually worry about them actually getting caught or put in danger. And speaking of cinematography, Janusz Kaminski works with Steven Spielberg for basically majority of his films. The cinematography in the film is actually beautiful. I love how they shot the film, how they use certain angles, especially in the action scenes, and also when it comes to emotional beats, the panning they do, how they use the lens flares. I just like the color that they use back in post as well. Everything they do, and I love when they work with each other, and I can see why they always want to work with each other when it comes to movies, because they just bring that epicness to the movie screens, and you just feel like it doesn't matter what kind of film it is, it's always going to look amazing when you have these two guys working with each other. And it's the reason why we go to the movies, to feel like we're watching like a big event, and that's what this movie feels when it comes to cinematography, and also with the composer with John Williams. And there's bad with this film, and it's basically some of the writing and the plots and some of the things that's going on. And that goes to the writer, David Cope, and that's something that is always interesting about him, because either he writes a banger or he can write something terrible, and that's what you get with him sometimes. So sometimes it does come out where he's writing something very good, and that's basically the first two acts. But when you get towards the third act of the film, that's when things get a little messy and kind of flat a little bit. And unfortunately, the movie loses its steam when it comes to the story and the narrative and where our characters at and development of them too. And it just basically makes the movie less of a masterpiece. The plot of the film occasionally feels bogged down because of this, and it feels like half ideas that really wasn't fleshed out at all. And I don't know if it was fully written, or they just had ideas and just want to keep things as mystery, but it kind of does that, and it makes the movie start feeling like a slow burn, because the first act of the film is very fast paced, and then you get to that enter the second act, and it starts slowing down to a point where it's like, okay, what's going on? And it makes the movie very disjointed, especially the third act of the film and going towards the final act. I felt like there was parts of this movie where it felt like that was the ending, and it wasn't. The movie kept on going and going and going. And the movie is about 2 hours and 25 minutes. And honestly, they could have dropped at least 15, maybe 20 minutes of that. And most of that could be in the third act. They basically overexhaust what they were trying to explain. But I also felt like it showed that they just didn't know how to end the film. So they just like, just put it all at once. And, you know, we're going to put everything on the screen and hopefully it works out. And that's how it feels, unfortunately. And I do something, too, with Colin Firth's character. And once you see what he does at the end of the film, is a real head scratcher. He does have a conversation with another character where it has like a small little build up to why he did what he did towards the end of the film. But it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I felt like that was kind of the half-baked ideas that they put in this film. And like I said, the ending of the film really makes the movie less of a masterpiece, what it could be. And that's the sad part about this film. The score of this film and the snack worthiness of this film, I'll have to give this movie 4 out of 5 snacks. Overall, like I said before, I really enjoyed this film. The first 2 acts were fantastic. Emily Blunt's performance was outstanding and amazing, and Steven Spielberg, he just knows how to bring the wonder, how to build characters, how to build a story up, and he does a great job of just like bringing you into this world. But I think a lot of people are going to be talking about that third act and how much it's lackluster and it lost a lot of steam and how this movie could have been a masterpiece. But overall, like I said, I still liked it. I highly recommend go watching it because it's an absolutely stunning, beautiful film, and I think you will enjoy the most of the film. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking your time watching this video. And don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the channel for more content. And I will be doing a review for The Furious later this week and also some movie news as well. But till next time, keep munching, keep watching good or bad or horrible movies that could become guilty pleasures. But always keep it real, and I'll see you next video. Take care and goodbye.